Well, here we are. Welcome into the Gardener's Corner program. My name is Rob Hall, and I'm the reason that we're a little bit late getting on the air this morning. Anyway, nevertheless, glad to be here, whether we're early, late, or right on time. But can't blame it on anyone today except myself. So my apologies for being a little bit tardy for the program. We're brought to you today by T.G. Brooks Company, Sandline Golf Cars, Goins Auctioneering. They've got a big auction going on tomorrow in Wilson, North Carolina. They've got hit and miss engines, antique tractors, cars. The list goes on. We'll tell you more about that. And we're also brought to you by Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese, spread and dip, made locally right here in Roxborough. And we do appreciate the support of Our Pride Foods for what they do for us here at the radio station. Without further ado, please make welcome all the way from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, the man that's got a better outlook on life today, simply because he has a new pair of glasses. If you would at this time, give it up for Mr. Carl Cantalupi.
Good morning, Rob.
A good morning to you, my friend.
Hope you're doing well.
Doing all right, and I apologize for
Dash and Dan, that's okay.
being the nickel that held up this multi-million-dollar operation.
That's okay.
When I came in, I told Carl the reason that I was running late, and he about fell out of the chair. I told him, I said, believe it or not, I was talking to somebody.
I told him that couldn't be it. It had to be some other reason.
Yeah, I couldn't blame it on traffic or anything. But anyway, we're glad to be here, and we are live in the studio. 336-599-0266. 336-599-0266 is your number to call for the Gardener's Corner program. If you've got a question for Carl, he will do his best to answer it for you. I know a lot of you is probably really concerned with the amount of rainfall that we have been receiving recently, and they're saying that we've got a chance of rain tonight and tomorrow, but I think it's supposed to be more moderate temperatures and not so much rain in the forecast for next week. But we'll just have to
that's good.
Play it by ear and see what happens. We've got a caller already. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Well, good morning.
How are you today?
And yes, I hope we don't get any more rain for a while. I am still looking for a lady, well, a young girl, some baby girl clothes.
Okay. Well, ma'am, this is the Gardener's Corner program today, but you call me back in the morning between 8:30 and 9, and we'll get you on the want ads. We don't have the want ads on Friday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, that's quite all right, and we have a lot of people that call in on Fridays wanting the want ads, but we do not do them Friday. But call me in the morning between 8:30 and 5 minutes to 9, and we'll get you live on the air, okay?
Okay, well, if anybody's listening and they know how to kill the grass looks like cabbage, put it on the radio.
All right, we'll do it, okay? All right, thank you. All right, I think she was talking about how to kill, I think she said maybe grub grass or something around cabbage.
I don't know what she means by that.
Yeah, so anyway, if she's listening, maybe she'll call back and clarify that. But again, we do not have want ads on Fridays because of the Gardener's Corner program. Want ads of the air is on Monday through Thursday from about 5 minutes after 11 until 5 minutes before noon, and then Saturday mornings between 8:30 and 5 minutes to 9. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. I have a problem. With all this rain, it's spawned mold inside of my potted plants. How do I get rid of that mold?
Okay, mold, fungus growth in the bottom of your house plants inside.
No, this is outside from the rain, so much water. I have potted plants out there.
Okay, all right. Basically, just I mean, if it's outside, just physically remove the mold at the top of the pots, and that, it shouldn't cause any harm to the plants. What kind of a soil mix are the pots growing in?
Gardening soil.
Okay.
It's Miracle Grow.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. I mean, that should be pretty well drained. And do you have drainage holes in the bottom of the pot?
I do.
Okay. Well, just pull.
I done stirred that mold a little bit in the top of the pot. I'm wondering if I did the wrong thing.
No, that's fine. You can stir it up or remove part of it on the top and till it up to encourage more drainage. That's the best thing to do.
I think I've got plenty of drainage. It's just too much water from
Yeah.
the rain and all.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks
Thank
for
you.
calling.
We appreciate the call.
Welcome. Bye.
All right, and we've got another call. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Okay, I'm with the one with the grub grass. I'm calling back.
All
Okay.
right, what is grub grass?
Is it?
Okay, now listen, this is what I call it. Don't make fun of me. I'm from Georgia. I just moved to Roxborough.
That's all right. But you say is it crabgrass?
In my yard, there is these round things, and I call them grub. I don't know. It looks like a cabbage head in the ground.
It looks like a what?
A cabbage head in the ground.
A cabbage head in the ground.
It looks like a round thing of cabbage in the ground. It's not real big, but it's really, really down in the ground. I don't know how to kill it. It's a weed.
All right, the best thing to do is if you can dig one up, bring it into the extension office, and
That's what I will do.
okay.
Yes. Do you know where the extension office is located at?
No, sir.
It's located on Morgan Street. Are you familiar with where Huck Sansbury Park is located?
Yes, sir.
The county office building is right across from Huck Sansbury, and it's a big brick building. And if you'll pull up a sample of that plant and bring it into the office, and when you get there, tell them you would like to have someone to identify that weed, and they will gladly do that for you at no charge.
Okay. Now, these little white flowers that's growing all in the yard, what's the best thing to kill weeds in the yard?
Broadleaf weeds in the lawn, you can get either Speed Zone or Trimec, Trimec.
All right. Trimec. Okay. Okay. All right, that's what I was wanting to know. When I heard him about the grub grass, I said, I got to call back because that's my nickname for it.
All right.
I'll get up there and let you look at it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
You have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you never know. We've had a caller from Florida. We hadn't heard from him in a while, and
No,
the lady
that's true.
says she's from Georgia, has moved here to Roxborough. Welcome in. And we wasn't making fun of your accent. Just sometimes
No, just different.
Carl and myself, don't know everything, especially I don't.
There's a
And-
lot of common names of plants that people have.
Yeah. And Carl, just yesterday, I had someone asking me a question, and they mentioned the name of a grass, and I had never heard of it, and they called it switchgrass. Have you
Okay.
ever heard of switchgrass?
Yeah, that's kind of grown as a ground cover in certain areas where they have to hold the soil back, in hilly areas. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it's probably a weed, a noxious weed. But was somebody wanting to establish that?
No, they want to know how to get rid of it.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah. If it's a grass a true grass in the Gramineae family, then they could use a product like Vantage, Vantage. But if it's not really in the grass family, then they'd have to use something like Roundup and get rid of it. If that way, and of course Roundup is non-selective, and then it would kill anything it happens to come in contact with. So I can do a little research and see what family switchgrass it is. I'm kind of thinking it is in the Gramineae family, so that means it would be a true grass. I can do a little research right now and see.
And Carl, while you kind of searching that, and a lot of people say that they're not capable of doing two things at one time, and I'm one of those people, but I know you can handle it. I also had someone saying that they don't know if it's all the rain that's caused it, but they have noticed on the Irish potatoes that they have planted that some of the leaves down on the bottom of the plant, just above the soil, is turning a white looking color. And they wonder, is it from, maybe waterlogged soils? But they were saying
the leaves or the tubers?
Well, I think they was talking about the leaves were turning white.
Okay.
But they were saying that it was actually in well-drained soil, and so they're not real sure if it's because of too much water. But I wondered if it could maybe be something because we did have a little bit of frost, several weeks ago, and we had talked about it had bit some of the potatoes and things like that. I didn't know if that could be some of the reason of maybe some white leaves on the Irish potatoes. Any idea?
And that could be, but that's kind of throwing me white on the leaves.
Right.
Now, white on the tubers could be from waterlogged soils, and I'll pull up a picture of that here in a minute. By the way, the switchgrass is a true grass, so you should be able to control it with Vantage. Fine, no problem.
So just spray it with Vantage.
Right.
All right, and Carl, I guess what you're talking about is, and I remember now, on the actual potato itself, it would have a lot of little white bumps on it, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's called enlarged lenticels. Lenticels are the breathing pores in fruits and vegetables, and it occurs in potatoes. It also occurs in certain apple varieties. For example, the Jonathan apple variety has very prominent lenticels, and they're white. That's just a characteristic of that variety. But here we have enlarged lenticels on potatoes, and when potatoes are grown in soils that hold a lot of water, these lenticels absorb more water, and you can see it in the picture here if you're watching it on TV or looking at the archive show. You can see the enlarged white bumpy growths on the tuber. Now this is fine to eat. This is not going to hurt you. It's just a physiological characteristic.
A little unsightly.
Yeah, just unsightly, and it's kind of the lenticels on the potato is kind of like the stomates in a leaf, or the stomates are the breathing pores in the leaf that open and close in response to moisture and temperature. So this is nothing more than enlarged lenticels, and as we get into further on in the year and people want to harvest some of their early potatoes, don't be alarmed if you see something like this. And then of course there's a fungus disease of potatoes called common scab that they're not white raised bumps like this, but they're kind of larger spots that are grayish in color. And scab is a fungus disease that occurs on potato. It's nothing to be alarmed about. You can peel that off and you can still use the potato. But these are definitely enlarged lenticels.
So, Carl, I guess for the person that maybe does have those white leaves on the actual potato plant itself. If they
don't.
could bring in a picture of it or
Yeah,
a
I'm
sample,
just.
you maybe could look at it a little bit closer.
Yeah, I'm wondering too if maybe the a possibility of some herbicide drift or something like that.
Oh, okay.
If they were spraying herbicides, and while we're on that, one common characteristic symptom of herbicide drift on tomato, if we get too close with Roundup in the garden, and we get a little drift on the tomato plant, this is what it shows. This is what it looks like. It looks like somebody spilled white paint on some of the tomato leaves here. So that's characteristic Roundup damage on tomato. Here it is, just kind of starting to happen, and here you see it on the side. So be very, very careful when you're in the garden using herbicides. Just stay away from the vegetable garden. That's the best advice to do.
And Carl, you have said that you should not spray herbicides when it's 85 degrees or hotter,
Yeah, and if it's windy.
and if it's windy.
Right.
And the reason about not spraying the herbicides over 85 degrees, because sometimes Carl has explained how it happens, but the air will kind of invert, and the little molecules of the spray will just kind of stay floating in the air, and
Yeah.
they can travel a long
A
ways.
long distance. That's
So
right.
even though you may be spraying on your own property, you could be causing problems to your neighbors, plants,
Absolutely.
in close proximity. So
Mm-hmm.
just always bear that in mind.
Right.
And, I think a lot of times that we're all maybe guilty of doing things sometimes, and we really don't think about the impact that we may be causing to others
Mm-hmm.
when we are, doing different things. So
Yep.
just always try to spray when it's 85 degrees or cooler and the wind is not blowing, and hopefully
Right.
you will not have any problems. And also, something that we have talked about before, when at all possible, always use water soluble 7 and not the 7 dust. The unfortunate thing about 7 dust, if you dust your vegetable plants with it, when honeybees may come and land on your plant, and they will get some of this 7 dust on them, and when they take it back to the hives, it could kill off the whole hive of bees.
Right.
But that's the nice thing about when you use water soluble 7, you don't have to worry about it being transmitted back to the beehives.
That's right. Always good thing to remember, Rob. Now this slide here that the people are looking at on the TV is Roundup injury on pumpkin. So this was actually a grower that got too close with pumpkin and can cause this coloration on pumpkin. Another plant to be extremely concerned about with herbicide drift. This is with the herbicide 2,4-D that is normally in broadleaf weed killers to control weeds in the lawn. These are grape leaves, and you can see that grapes are an excellent indicator plant of 2,4-D drift. And the grapes look like somebody pulled them, and kind of made them very broad. The veins are very pronounced, and so don't get close to grapevines if you're using 2,4-D, because it'll really cause major malformation of the leaves. And 2,4-D is a plant growth regulator. It stimulates cell division and cell elongation, so that's why you see these what we call strap-like leaves. Another symptom is on tomato. 2,4-D injury on tomatoes is the twisting and distortion of the leaves, as you see right here. So be very careful when you apply broadleaf herbicides to the lawn, especially 2,4-D. Here's a tomato plant, and you can see that this is herbicide drift from a neighboring a neighbor. This is in town, and you can see the upper part of the tomato plant is twisted and distorted, but the lower leaves are fine. So this makes perfect sense, because the herbicide droplets drifted, and the top part of the plant caught the majority of the spray droplets, where the bottom of the plant did not. So this is very helpful when you're trying to diagnose problems.
Okay. We're going to get a word on in just a minute for T.G. Brooks Company. If you've got land that is not too wet and you're ready to start planting, they've got a long list of different varieties of as I said, tomatoes. So it doesn't matter if you want tomatoes or mater plants. Go see them at T.G. Brooks Company. They've got a huge variety of them. Here's some more information from T.G. Brooks Company.
You know, we're so glad to see old month of May and May's beautiful weather here in Person County. And in May, it's full-time lawn and garden season. It's the time to have fun and beautify. T.G. Brooks Company has lots and lots of tomato plants, all of the most popular local varieties. They have squash, cucumber, cabbage, broccoli, pepper plants, cantaloupe, plenty of vegetable plants, and herbs like basil, chives, thyme, oregano, dill, cilantro, peppermint. They have lavender. They have your garden flowers, so many like impatiens, begonias, marigolds, petunias, vincas, and others. Get your garden seed fresh garden seed ready for planting. Reseed your lawn with clean, fresh grass seed. And they have fertilizer and lime. If you need mulch, man, do they have mulch, even the triple ground mulch. Do you need straw, pine needles? How about potting soil, planting soil, cow manure? They have spreaders, and they have aerators for sale or for rent. T.G. Brooks serves the homeowner and the commercial landscaper. T.G. Brooks Company handles everybody with the same courteous service. They can arrange delivery, or you can pull in with your pickup truck, trailer, and they'll load it up for you. The bagged products they'll load up for you in your car or your van. Remember, they have Bartlett animal feeds too. It's exciting to see May in the full-time growing season. Top off that day with a hand-cut ribeye steak from T.G. Brooks Company. Hurry out to 411 Helena Maria Road in Timberlake. T.G. Brooks has proudly served the homeowner, the farmer, and those in construction since way back in 1936. And they welcome people from all over Person County, Rougemont, northern Durham, and of course southern Person County.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. My name is Rob Hall, Mr. Carl Cantalupi, our resident expert from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, who gladly shares his knowledge with us, and we're very appreciative of it. 336-599-0266. That's 336-599-0266 is the telephone number for the Gardener's Corner program. While we're at it, let's get a word on for Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip. Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip, is made locally right here in Roxborough and Person County. Goodness grows in North Carolina, and Our Pride Foods is the makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip. For added flavor, try the jalapeno added. With the holidays coming along, with Memorial Day weekend just one weekend away, if you're having gatherings and friends, why not have plenty of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip on stock Your friends and family will thoroughly enjoy it. And this message from the Wooden family at Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese. Always exercise food safety. So make that holiday safe and make sure that you keep hot foods warm enough and cold foods cold enough. Always make sure that you've got plenty of ice in the cooler, and always practice food safety. Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program, 336-599-0266. Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the Cooperative Extension Service is here. And Carl, I guess we kind of veered off course from the very beginning. You had wanted to talk about ornamental insects,
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct. Now we're starting to see different types of insects affecting ornamental plants, so I think it's good to to give people a heads up as to what they'll be seeing shortly if they haven't seen them already. Aphids are an insect that come in various different colors. They're soft-bodied. They have piercing, sucking mouth parts. Some are covered with a waxy powder. Some aphids also are virus vectors. In other words, they'll transmit virus from a diseased plant to a healthy plant. Most aphids secrete a clear, sticky substance called honeydew, and this honeydew is what attracts the sooty mold fungus. So as the aphids feed on the plant, their digestive juices come out on the leaf and this is what the sooty mold fungus, which is a black fungus, likes. And we'll show some slides of that in a minute. The female aphid reproduces by parthenogenesis. That's a big word. That means they can bear the young without the presence of a male. So they give birth to living young that mature in about 10 days. Natural enemies of aphids include ladybird beetles, green lacewings, and aphid lions. If we have problems with aphid on plants, such as crepe myrtles, for example, they love crepe myrtles, we can spray with malathion, insecticidal soap, or sometimes just a stream of water from the garden hose is enough to dislodge them from the plants. And we want to spray once every 7 to 10 days until the aphids are gone. Here's a picture of an adult aphid with the young, and you can see the immatures there along with the adult. And here is a parasitic wasp that actually lays an egg in an aphid, and then as that egg hatches into a larvae, it matures and kills the aphid. Here's two different life cycle stages of an adult ladybug and an immature. So you see the one on the right looks nothing like the adult ladybug. So these are actually beneficial insects, and there's no need to control these because the ladybugs will feed on aphids.
Carl, talking about the aphids, when the aphids are really present on a lot of tall trees like pecan trees, they get, their honey, what do you call it?
They secrete the honeydew.
Yes.
And they cause the leaves to curl.
And it's on all over your vehicle.
That's true.
And it can be really sticky and make the windshield very hard to see out of.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is sometimes with some of the pecan trees, they are so tall that it's not really possible
You can't.
to spray them and control them.
Yeah, and a lot of insects and diseases that affect pecans. If a person has a few trees on the property and they're very tall, there's no way that you can control insects and diseases, so you kind of have to be content to get whatever amount and kind of crop that you get. from year to year. There's no sense in spending several $1,000s for a power sprayer that has a piston pump that can get the spray material that tall up in the trees. So yeah, aphids can cause problems. And here's the sooty mold fungus that's growing on a leaf. And on the leaf edges, it's kind of hard to see in the picture, are actually ants that are feeding on the honeydew, as well as the sooty mold fungus is growing on the honeydew. Here's another shot of the sooty mold fungus. This can very easily be removed with your fingernail by scratching the sooty mold off the leaf. It really doesn't do any problem. Doesn't cause any problems to the plant. It just makes it look unsightly. Lacewings are another insect that are beneficial. Here's a green lacewing larvae feeding on aphids.
I knew that I would rub off on you eventually.
Here's another shot of the lacewing larva feeding on aphids. This is the lacewing adult, and I'm sure many of you have seen this kind of insect and wondered what it is. This is the adult, and the fascinating thing about the lacewing adults is how they lay their eggs. Here's a picture of the eggs that are laid by adult lacewings, and you see the eggs are very small, white, and oval, and they're laid on a stalk that protects the eggs from other insect predators or cannibalism. Here's another shot of lacewing eggs hanging off of a leaf. So it's Mother Nature's way of really protecting them here. This is another insect called an aphid lion. An aphid lion here, you can see it's feeding on an aphid. It's got the aphid in its grips. Another insect that causes a lot of problems with with plants, and I'm sure we'll start to be seeing these soon, are Japanese beetles. They were first reported in North America back in 1916. They feed on many different plants. They skeletonize plant leaves. Actually, what that means is they feed on the leaves and eat the softer material of the leaf, and they leave the leaf veins. So when you look at a leaf, it's just has veins that makes it look like a skeleton, as you see in this picture here. But the female adult Japanese beetles mate and lay eggs in turf grass between late July to early August. The eggs hatch into grub worms. The grubs feed on the turf grass roots and can move about 2 to 10 inches deep into the soil to overwinter. These pheromone traps that you can buy that have a lure or a sex attractant that attracts the male beetle to the trap really don't do much good, especially if you place these traps close to the crop that you want to protect, because this lure is so strong that it starts calling adult male beetles from a whole bunch of different areas, and you actually get more damage than if you didn't use the traps at all. So you can use the insecticide 7 or any type of pyrethroid insecticide, spinosad, and neem you can use. They're less effective, but 7 and pyrethroids will control them very well. Usually Japanese beetles aren't here very long. You can easily control them with insecticides. Here's a Japanese beetle adult, and you can see the damage that they do. Again, here's the slide of feeding damage on grape, and they can really go to town and skeletonize grape leaves. This is the life cycle of a Japanese beetle. The adult beetle is in the center. It lays eggs in late July, between late July and early August. The eggs hatch into larvae. The larvae get larger as they move deeper in the soil if you follow along on the right. Then on the left side of the slide shows how a grub worm moves upward in the soil in the spring and changes into the pupal stage before it changes into the adult stage.
Well, Carl, what may sound like a crazy question,
No.
would it be wise to spray insecticides on your vegetable garden plants, and maybe it's blueberries, blackberries, or whatever it may be, before you even see anything?
No, that's a good question, though. No, you just don't spray any insecticide until you actually see them there feeding. And then an insecticide like Sevin will do a very good job controlling the insects. So yeah, Sevin doesn't last very long in the environment. So the danger is applying it too soon, and then it's gone by the time the insects get there. So, but very good question.
And we may continue on having a wet spring on into a wet summertime, and with that being the case, you may have to do your spray regimen
Yeah,
a little bit more often.
that's correct. That's correct.
We're going to get a word on in just a minute for Goings Auctioneering. They've got a big auction going on tomorrow down in Wilson, North Carolina. A huge collection of antiques, that's hit and miss engines, tractors, trucks. It's just a lot of different items. Log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com to view photographs and terms. But here's more information. Mr. Greg Goings of Goings Auctioneering, NCAL 390, announces an auction sale taking place on Saturday, May 21st at 9 a.m. in Wilson, North Carolina. It's the auction sale for Grover and the estate of Eugene Jones collection. It's going to be at the Big M Tobacco Warehouse, 1723 Goldsboro Street South in Wilson, what used to be Old Liberty Warehouse. For more information, log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com or call Greg Goings at 252-578-1623. Over 60 years of collection will be sold at this auction, including hit and miss engines, tractors, cars, old farm equipment, motorcycles, warehouse full of antiques, small items of all varieties. This is Saturday, May 21st at 9 a.m. at the Big M Tobacco Warehouse, 1723 Goldsboro Street, South in Wilson. This auction will be held rain or shine. No buyer's premium will be charged. Call Greg Goins at 252-578-1623 for more information, or log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com. Again, this auction Saturday, May 21st at 9 a.m. in Wilson, North Carolina, at the Big M Tobacco Warehouse. As far as soil sampling goes, it's a great time to get them done, correct?
Sure. Make sure that the soil dries out before you take the sample. Or if you take a wet sample, let it air dry on newspaper before you bring it into the extension office.
And it is free up until Thanksgiving.
That's correct.
Let's take a trip down to Oxford and stop in at Sandling Golf Cars. They have a huge selection of golf cars, utility trailers, stock trailers, equipment trailers. If you need Trojan batteries for your golf car, if you need wheels and tires, they've got it. Also, Memorial Day weekend is kind of the kickoff to the summertime, so to speak. If you've been wanting a Wilmington grill, see them at Sandling Golf Cars. Here's more information. Sandling Golf Cars, located 613 Lewis Street in Oxford, has a full line of golf cars, new and pre-owned units available. Whether you want a gasoline or electric model, see them at Sandling Golf Cars. Call 919-693-4626, toll free 1-800-221-9267. You can also find Wilmington grills and a large selection of utility trailers, dump trailers, enclosed trailers. Also, check out this a 16-foot gooseneck stock trailer, walls lined and mats, starting as low as $6,000, or get the 20-foot for $6,400. Payments start as low as $125 a month with approved credit. For more information, call Al, Hillary, or Will at 919-693-4626, toll free 1-800-221-9267. Stop in and see them. They're located 613 Lewis Street in Oxford, open weekdays 8 until 5:30, Saturdays 9 until 1. For all of your parts and repair service on your golf cars, see Bradley and Dennis at Sandline Golf Cars, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. And keep in mind, they have Wilmington grills at Sandline Golf Cars. Here we are back on the Gardeners Corner program. My name is Rob Hall. Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the Cooperative Extension Service is our resident expert. Dr. CC.
Yeah.
What about spraying fruit trees? Is that something that people need to be doing already?
That's correct. Now, as it's been time has passed since the trees have been in full bloom. Once the flower petals have fallen, you need to start to resume your fruit tree sprays, because there's a lot of insects that actually get their start when the fruit is very, very tiny, especially codling moth on apples, other insects that drill into the fruit, that cause larvae to appear in the interior of the fruit, such as the apple maggot. If these are not controlled before the larvae move into the fruit, you're going to have wormy fruits, when come harvest time. And these fruits might not size up properly. They might start to ripen quicker due to the effects of the insect damage. And so the time to get on your spray schedules are now for destructive insects and also for destructive diseases like brown rot of peaches, cherries, plums, and also the black rot fungus disease organism of grapes. Black rot is the very destructive one that shrivels a grape cluster into a bunch of hard raisins. So you need to start applying your insecticides and fungicides now, if you haven't done so already. If you want some more information, we have excellent publications at the Extension office. Just give us a call at 336-599-1195. That's 336-599-1195 in the Roxborough office, or area code 919-603-1350 in the Granville County office. Again, that's 919-603-1350 for the Granville County Extension office. We've just moved our location over to the Oxford Tobacco Research Station. The address out there is actually 901 Hillsborough Street. The office location has changed, but the phone number remains the same.
All righty. Carl, we need to get another word on for Goings Auctioneering, and then we'll be back to wrap up this edition of the Gardener's Corner program. And when we come back, I got a question that I want to ask about fruit trees.
All right.
But right now, here's more information about that big auction tomorrow, brought to you by Goings Auctioneering. Mr. Greg Goings of Goings Auctioneering, NCAL 390, announces an auction sale taking place on Saturday, May 21st at 9 a.m. in Wilson, North Carolina. It's the auction sale for Grover and the estate of Eugene Jones collection. It's going to be at the Big M Tobacco Warehouse, 1723 Goldsboro Street South in Wilson, what used to be Old Liberty Warehouse. For more information, log on to GoingsAuctionsINC.com or call Greg Goings at 252-578-1623. Over 60 years of collection will be sold at this auction, including hit-and-miss engines, tractors, cars, old farm equipment, motorcycles, warehouse full of antique small items of all varieties. This is Saturday, May 21st at 9 a.m. at the Big M Tobacco Warehouse, 1723 Goldsboro Street, South in Wilson. This auction will be held rain or shine. No buyer's premium will be charged. Call Greg Goins at 252-578-1623 for more information, or log on to GoinsAuctionsINC.com. Again, this auction Saturday, May 21st at 9 a.m. in Wilson, North Carolina, at the Big M Tobacco Warehouse. All right, here we are back on the Gardeners Corner program. Carl, we got just a few minutes left on the program, and anyway, in the last couple of minutes we have, what would you like to shine a light on?
Well, we need some sunshine, and we need the soil to dry out before we can do a lot of things outside. Again, for people that have cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli that are growing rapidly now, be sure to apply a side dressing of nitrogen, maybe 1 pound of 10-10-10 fertilizer per 30 feet of row, applied in a band about 6 inches away from the plants. This will stimulate the more rapid heading of cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower to make the heads mature before it gets too warm. Make sure that the cabbage heads are tight. You can squeeze them. You can squeeze the head with your fingers and it's tight. Go ahead and harvest it. Broccoli should be harvested before the flowers open up or start to turn yellow. Cauliflower should also, the curd or the head of the cauliflower should be a nice white color. Make sure that you harvest those before the florets of the cauliflower open up and cause what we call a ricey head. And this is when the head kind of falls apart and turns bitter.
All righty, some useful information. But it's still opportune time when the soil's dry out some to plant any warm season vegetables.
That's
whether
correct.
it's corn, tomatoes, peas, snap beans, butter beans, sweet potatoes, and all that stuff is a good time to plant, correct?
That's correct.
But again, they're calling for a chance of rain over the next day or so. But I'm thinking it's supposed to be a little bit drier and a little bit warmer next week. And with the temperatures as cool as they've been in the last few days, a lot of the stuff is not really growing as fast as it should.
Yeah.
But now that it's plenty of soil moisture, water in the ground, when it gets warming up, things should really start growing. But always, when things start to dry, always do the screwdriver test and don't wait till the soil dries out completely before watering.
Right.
But thanks goes out to Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip, Goings Auctioneering, Sandling Golf Cars, and T.G. Brooks Company for sponsoring the Gardeners Corner program. Thanks to Carl Cantalupi of the North
Thank you,
Carolina
Rob.
Cooperative Extension Service. Want to wish you and yours a happy and safe weekend, and we look forward to being back with you next Friday with another edition of the Gardeners Corner program.
County Environmental Health Supervisor, and she tells WWAY News everyone should check water sources around their homes.
Basically, they need to be dumping standing water out every 5 days.
Many other areas of the state have also been working on mosquito control for the year because of the Zika virus. It's been 50 years since the Starship Enterprise began its 5-year mission. Now a Seattle museum is looking at the influence of Star Trek with an exhibit opening this weekend.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
Star Trek debuted on NBC in 1966. Seattle's EMP Museum is celebrating with Star Trek Exploring New Worlds. Curator Brooks Peck says the display goes beyond costumes and props.
Star Trek believes in the power of diversity. It shows us at our best, working together to do an amazing task, explore the galaxy. And I think that vision, those ideas, just get people excited.
Visitors will even see tribbles that apparently escaped from their display case. I'm Jamie Fryer.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
It's 12 o'clock. Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Daria Aldinger. Officials are saying it is looking more likely that a bomb brought down Egypt Air Flight 804, and now there are growing concerns about how safe major airports really are. ABC's Alex Marquardt's in Paris, where the flight originated.
I saw a gunner. No.
U.S. plane helping in the search found what may be the first debris, luggage and a seat not far from the Egyptian port city of Alexandria. The trial of an Uber driver from Kalamazoo, Michigan came to an abrupt ending today. One of the people Jason Dalton is accused of shooting broke down just minutes after taking the stand. Tiana Carruthers limped into court on a cane. Dalton is accused of killing 6 people. The next battleground in the abortion debate is Oklahoma, where lawmakers have passed a bill that essentially outlaws the procedure. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Under the proposed statute,